back with another Digital Dell Hoops podcast for you. We want to welcome you into the draft circle with my co-host, Matt Hanifan. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm just trying to get to March, man. I cannot wait for conference play. I cannot wait for the NCAA tournament. Not conference play, conference tournaments. I can't wait for all of that. I can't wait for the good prospects to play one another consistently. Like I'm really waiting for that. I'm raring to go, man. We've watched so many of these guys so many times. Like I need the separation to happen on my big board because everybody's so tightly grouped.
It's not going to happen.
I know, but there's little things we can learn when they go head to head, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit more. We'll talk about, well, no, I think you learn a lot. I don't think it's going to completely change evaluations, but you can learn a lot more when they go head to head. And we're going to have a conversation about Kingston Flemings in this last game he played against Kansas. There were some things that showed up on film that were interesting to me against that athleticism and length of Kansas. But before we do, I just want to welcome our audience into YouTube. I want to say what's up to Ian. Thanks for stopping by, man. He said, what's good, fam? Been missing when you're on lately. Yeah, we've been really inconsistent, E. So that's not your fault, man. That's kind of us. A lot going on around here with the writing on SI that we do, as well as, just I do a million different things. Matt does a million different things. You know, Matt's got 700 different sites he writes for.
Yeah.
But
plus
we
the
also,
day job.
And a day job. Yeah, I have a day job as well. Yep, 40 hours. Got to put my 40 hours in. So it's been busy, but our goal is to be here Tuesdays and Thursdays as much as we can. Those are the days you can find us. And we're going to try to continue to bring you the best quality product and information that we can. So what we want to do real quick is just touch on what we've been writing on SI, Sports Illustrated's website. I don't have any links prepared, unfortunately, but you can go directly to the Indiana Pacers website and see this article I'm about to reference. What I wrote about was the riskiest pick for the Indiana Pacers. And the riskiest pick for the Indiana Pacers is coincidentally Darren Peterson. The reason why I think he's the riskiest pick for them, one, his health concerns. He hasn't been healthy his entire college season, and it's been a variety of different ailments. It's been hamstring issues. It's been cramping. It's been illness. He just checks himself out of games midway. And when you're a team that's looking to compete in the NBA Finals once Tyrese Halliburton gets healthy again, like that's their plan, it could be a really risky proposition to miss if you get that number one pick and you don't get the right guy. So that's the gist of the article that I wrote for the Indiana Pacers. Real quick, Ian says in the chat, no doubt, fam, no worries at all. Glad I was able to catch you guys again. I'm sure my notifications are still on, just making sure I'm checking on you guys these days. Absolutely appreciate the support, Ian. Be like Ian, man. Watch the show, comment, because you'll get on screen, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But what have you been working on for Sports Illustrated, Matt?
A few different things. One of them including the Magic. They don't have their 2026 pick, and so one of the things I recently wrote was why they could regret missing on the 2026 draft class. Obviously, they're fighting for a top 6 seed right now. They're a half game back of Philadelphia at the time of this video for that number 6 seed, so it's still well within reach. I don't think they're going to get a top 5 seed, but they're still in contention with the Miami Heat for a top 6 seed in the East. But anyway, they don't have their 2026 pick. They've been pretty mediocre all season. They're coming off a very good win against the Clippers on Sunday. They play again tonight at the Lakers to cap off their 4-game road trip. But it's been a pretty turbulent season for them. And even though Desmond Bane has been maybe their best player, you could argue, second best player at worst this year.
Definitely the most consistent.
Yeah, and he's been healthy every single game for them. They still could regret missing out on this, especially since it's another, cost controlled contracts are incredibly important.
Yeah.
Um, their books are going to be pretty like muddied over the
Right.
next 2-3 seasons with Paulo's extension kicking in. Bane obviously makes a ton of money.
Right.
The Wendell Carter Jr. Extension I think is going to be kicking in next year as well. They just have like the Jalen Suggs contract, Franz Wagner, like they have a lot of contracts that are going to be allocating most of their books, and it's going to be
Yeah.
pushing them, towards these aprons and past the luxury tax and whatnot. And cost controlled contracts are incredibly important. And it's just another opportunity for them to add really good young talent, as we're going to talk about, and as we have talked about plenty of times on here, how awesome this draft class, can potentially be, how it looks on paper right now versus what can actually happen on draft night with who goes where and whatnot. But yeah, that was one of the things I recently wrote for the Magic, as well as takeaways for every game. Please go check that stuff out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Matt does incredible work for the Orlando Magic on SI website for Sports Illustrated. If you ever want to catch up on all their content, you can catch that there. Let's get into the draft talk. So welcome into the draft circle. We're going to talk a little bit about just how ridiculously deep this draft class is. But before we get into the depth piece, we got to talk about Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson, let's take the injury concerns with, we're going to learn more once we get to the combine, right? Like once the medicals come out, once we get all the measurables, we get to see him interact with all the other teams, we're probably going to learn some more information. To me, the way this situation is playing out, it feels like his medical camp is like, hey, we're going to err on the side of caution. You feel anything, just take yourself out. And it feels like Kansas is like, well, we paid you a lot of money to come here. Please play. Like that's kind of how it looks to me like this thing is shaping up. But what I'm more concerned about is what I see on film in terms of he really isn't getting into the lane as well as you would think for a 6'6", ripped up body type that he is. It's a lot of contested jumpers. A lot of Ace Bailey-ish contested jumpers. Now, I'm not comparing him to Ace Bailey in terms of his style of play or his game, but in terms of just taking really difficult shots, yeah, he takes a lot of really difficult shots. And what I've been noticing on film is that he gets double teamed almost immediately. Like, he doesn't ever see a one-on-one opportunity, which you would think that for the talent that he is, that he would get double teamed a lot. But typically in college, you don't see them just running double teams at people consistently. Now, the other part of this, Kansas isn't a terrific three-point shooting team, so that people are able to sag off of them and double team Peterson. But what I've noticed is that he cannot get into the lane even when he's coming off pick and rolls very easily. You know how the big will blitz? The big will blitz him, and he does not beat that big around the corner. And that's concerning to me because you look at a lot of these high-level guys. I mean, AJ DeBonsa doesn't get double-teamed like Darren Peterson. But, like, the point guards do. Kingston Flemings, Acuff, and, even Wagler is starting to get double-teamed because he's such a prolific scorer. But you got to be able to beat that big around the corner and then cause rotational help or get into the lane and get fouled. He did it maybe once or twice in the last game against Houston, but man, it's concerning for me. What do you think about that, Matt?
He's not healthy. That's why he's not healthy. He doesn't have the same explosiveness as he did, if you go back and watch I know it's an exhibition, but if you go back and watch the exhibitions, or if you go back and watch the North Carolina game, like
right.
He was far more explosive in those games than he wasn't, or at least than he has been lately. He's not healthy.
Right.
That's kind of been like my take on it, at least recently, just watching it, being like, yeah, he's like, I can't really. I understand it will forever be weird how the situation is being handled.
Right.
I don't know whether it's from him or his camp or whatever the case is. It's always going to be a little bit weird until we learn more information about it, but he's not healthy.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't really.
How are you evaluating that? Like, does that move him at all from number one for you?
No.
Okay. I like it.
I mean, I've certainly thought about it. I said this in our Discord, uh, and I also tweeted about this the other day. For me, I just wish we could, in our own head, at the end of the day, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. But in my own head, it's 1A, 1B, 1C, so on and so forth with some of these top
Right.
guys. And so that's what makes it hard is like, yeah, I've thought about DeBonsa, I've thought about Boozer, but I haven't. To contextualize it, I just kind of think that he's just not particularly healthy, and so that's kind of
Yeah.
like, sure, maybe the soft tissue. I should be more worried about having like this many, not this many soft tissue injuries because it's really only the hamstring, but like with the
Correct.
cramping that comes along with it. The illness is more of like a fluky thing. Like anyone
Right.
can pick up a common cold or whatever. I'm not saying that's
Right.
what he had, but that can happen to anyone.
It could.
I mean, so can these other injuries, but like I'm not. Maybe I should be a little bit more concerned, but I'm really just not. Like I'll
Right.
be concerned for Kansas's long-term outlook. Like, do I think they're going to be, you know, an Elite Eight team, a Final Four team, whatever you want to call it? Probably
Definitely
not.
not without him.
I was going to
Yeah.
say if Darren Peterson's not healthy, probably not. Like,
Right. Right. Well, and, so my thing is, this is why I think he's a risky pick for someone like Indiana. If they're a rebuilding franchise, you could take chances on the long-term success of Darren Peterson.
sure.
But if you're the Pacers and you're trying to win right now, you need somebody that's going to be able to be on the floor night in and night out and contribute. What if these issues crop up during the playoffs and you don't ever have him in a playoff game and he doesn't help you at all?
Well,
So
I think the counter argument to that would be he'll be healthier come June when the pre-draft workouts come.
Maybe he will. We'll find out. We'll see.
I would suspect I mean, if it's a hamstring strain and he's still playing through it.
But look at how many games he took off to try to get that thing right already. He's missed 11 games already this season.
Yeah, but if after 2 months of not playing.
Yeah.
Or 3 months, depending on when these workouts take place.
I think we'll learn more during the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament about his health. Like, we're going to see if he's going to continue to stack full games because this is the first 2-game stretch he's played back-to-back full games. He hasn't done that at all this season. He's taken himself out of every single game he's played in except for these last 2 or 3. EMAC says, me personally, I would take the jump to the NBA. I think the league and the right team can help him develop a slashing game. I agree. I think he's going to, if he's healthy, I think he may be able to develop a slashing game. It's just something to note on the evaluation, something you got to flag and you have to look into. He's got another comment here. It says, true, don't want another Zion, never available come playoff time or half the season.
It's also one of those things where it's like, again, we don't know what him and his camp are thinking.
100%.
I just wonder how much of it is like, let's get through the season with how this is right now.
Right.
And I just want to, get to the next level while being healthy.
Absolutely.
And like a team like the Pacers, if you have a Tyrese Halliburton and Darren Peterson backcourt, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Absolutely not. But if you have a Tyrese Halliburton and Darren Peterson on the bench or on IR, then it's a wasted pick for this season. So it's a catch-22. High ceiling, a lot of potential to push you over the top, but also could be absolutely nothing if he's not available to play. Availability is your best ability.
Yeah.
Let's keep this thing rolling. We're going to get into how deep this draft class is right now. Right before we do, I just wanted to go over our newest sponsor really quick, and that is your 3D pet store on Etsy. What it is, you send a photo of your pet, just a picture, and 3D printed a statue for your desk of your pet. You can get the name engraved right on the statue. This is the bigger size, 5x5. Why keep your furry friend on a photo when you can have them on your desk? So there's a 15% discount going on for the launch of your 3D pet store on Etsy. It's the coupon right here at the bottom of the screen. I'll put it in the description of the video as well when we're done. Not during the live stream, obviously, because I can't do that right now. I'm working, but I'll do it. I'll put it in after. But that's our sponsor, your 3D pet store on Etsy. Now, Matt, let's talk about this draft class. I'm going to pull back up my big board. I put it in the chat for you guys. If you didn't notice, I put the link to the big board in the chat on YouTube. So you can go there. I use Fanspo. Me and Matt has been using Fanspo for like 3 years now. It's a pretty convenient tool. It's not actually as well known as I thought it would be for how well it works. And they're actually getting better. I mean, when we first started using it, they wouldn't even have all the players from the class.
There's still one player that they should add on here who isn't.
Who are they? Yet. Who are they missing?
Ruben Shinyulu.
Oh, they're missing Shinyulu. I love Shinyulu. I love his game, dude. Him and Morez Johnson from Michigan. Man, you talk about players that are going to be underrated going into the draft. And they're going to be like, man, how did we get this guy this late in the class?
I was looking for him the other day. I just was, fully updating everything. And
nice.
Yeah, he's not on here.
Look at you taking initiative, Matt Hanifan.
It's not me. It's just.
But Ian's got another comment, man. He says, I'm going to be reaching out to do that. Fam, our dog or cat this Friday. Oh, send me that link. Hey, I got you. I'll put that in the link in the description, and I'll reach out. Well, I know you personally, so I'll reach out personally to you as well. But yeah, man. Let's go. Let's get into this. Let's get into the nuts and bolts. AJ DeBonsta has not moved from number 2 all year, and he's not going to move, right? Like, I'm not moving AJ. He's such a good player. His size, his length, his wingspan, his poise to just get to his spots, his defensive ability, his defensive potential, not defensive ability. He's got potential defensively. He's got to develop his awareness and his game brains, as the late, great Craig Wolfley of the Pittsburgh Steelers used to say. He's got to develop his game brains. I have Darius Acuff third. Nobody can tell me anything. I love Caleb Wilson. I just made Caleb Wilson and Cameron Boozer into one player. What a player that would be. Holy cow, that'd be an amazing player. But Caleb Wilson and Cameron Boozer are my 4th and 5th pick in this. And there's tiers to this. But the reason why I have Cam Boozer 5th, and I know a lot of people are going to give me grief about it, but it's because I don't think he could ever be the best player on a championship team. And there's a lot of nuances that go into that conversation, and I'll be glad to have them in later podcast. I know it's an argument a lot of people have in terms of him not being the best player on a championship team, but there's reasons for that. There's reasons why I say this. But if you put Cam Boozer with Tyrese Halliburton to keep the Indiana thing going, my God, would that be the perfect fit for that team? Because he is a freaking robot of a processor. As soon as the ball's in his hands, he knows the exact read to make, and he makes it almost every single time. Like an amazing processor of information. There's limitations with Boozer, though. There's things defensively that's going to be very challenging. There's going to be things offensively that's going to be challenging with Boozer. But we'll get into that in later podcast. But let's get into the depth of this draft. Once you get past 5, you could literally put these guys in whatever order you want. Like, somebody could take Koa Pete 6th, and you'd be like, I could understand that. Somebody could take Chris Sinak 6th and be like, you know what? That makes sense. I could understand that too. You keep going down this list, and these guys that are outside the top 10, like Christian Anderson, Braden Burries, is better than people realize. Like, I don't think people really understand how good Braden Burries is. Like, I have him 15th, and that feels incredibly low. What are your thoughts about that, Matt? What do you think?
I have him 14th, so.
And it could be too low.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really, really good player. And when you try to, like, in the new age stats and analytics era where everybody's, not everybody, but people don't watch game film and are only looking at stats. How are they evaluating these guys when they all have like very, very similar stats? Like all of them are like averaging 18 points a game, like 4 or 5 rebounds and like a few assists. Like all of them. They're all similar size. They all have good size. I mean, some of the point guards are smallish.
Yeah.
Like, like our guy Okori's he's listed at 6'2", but
Anderson
also, he's small, but he can shoot the lights out. Okori can shoot the lights out. They're good, crafty finishers. Actually, I think Okori's a better finisher around the rim than Christian Anderson.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Kingston Flemings real quick. I got sidetracked by Kingston Flemings. We skipped over Cam Carr and Tonde Yesufu. Like, Tonde Yesufu could be a two-way monster in the NBA. Cam Carr could be a two-way monster in the NBA. And you could get those guys anywhere from 8th all the way down to 15 possibly.
Talk about Flemings, and then I have a counter to what we're talking about now.
All right, so Kingston Flemings, in the last game against Kansas, the length and athleticism of Kansas at every position really bothered him. Now, he's a very good athlete. He raises up really high on his jumper to shoot over the top of people, but because of how his motion is, they're just as athletic. He jumps, they jumped. They made it really difficult for him to make shots. And his stat line was really deceiving. If you didn't watch the game, you're like 17 points. That's not too bad. He didn't have 17 points. 16 points, sorry. But he didn't have those points until the very end of the game. He scored like 10 buckets.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, like the end of the game. That defense had him in absolute jail. And the big takeaway that I have, he's very quick, but he's not very shifty. Like, he doesn't have a lot of moves to beat you. He's going one move, crossover, going left or right, doesn't matter, and he's going 100 miles an hour. And what Kansas did, their length, and again, Fury Badunga, people don't understand how great of a defender Fury Badunga is as well. Like, he deters so many shots in the lane. Same thing with Tiller. Tiller's an excellent player also. He's got good length and size. And again, he deters a lot of shots. But the length of that team just presented so many problems for Flemings. Yeah. And he's not nearly as good as a processor of information and creator of offense as Darius Acuff. Darius Acuff will create offense regardless. Whether he needs to do it himself or he'll get everybody else involved. He can do it either way. And he's got moves to take on double teams, to take on traps, whatever you need, whatever you throw at Acuff, he has a counter for it. The thing I've seen with Flemings, especially in that game, if you have length and athleticism across the board, he doesn't have a counter for it.
I think last game was a specific one, though. Like against Iowa State, for example, who's also lengthy and athletic. He had
very good defense. Yeah.
He had counters for.
He did. You know who didn't?
In this game,
Darren Peterson.
It looked like to me, I don't want to say he didn't have his legs under him, but like a lot of his shots were flat. Like he was getting to his spots.
Well, his shot is always flat. So this is the thing about him. He jumps really high at his peak, and then he shoots down at the rim.
Yeah. But for this one specifically, it looked flatter than usual.
Yeah.
Like, it is a traditionally flat release.
Right.
I think mechanically, he's been very efficient this whole year.
He has.
But there's gonna be things to work on for sure with him. But yeah, it wasn't like his most efficient jump shooting game. To me, also, like you talked about Badunga, what he did, and it wasn't even just like deterring shots around the rim. Like he had Senak and
oh yeah.
He dominated that game.
I mean, Senak played very well as well. Also,
he did not.
Well, he did when anyone else outside of Badunga was on him. That's why they played Tiller and Badunga so much together. Because Senak, or not Senak. Sorry, I apologize. The reason why they played Tugler and they played Senak together a lot. Fury guarded Badunga. Fury and Tugler were matched up a lot in that game. Anytime Sinak was on anybody else other than Badunga, he played really well. He was rebounding well, defending well, a lot of hard hedges. Now, he didn't score the ball very well. Like, he didn't do much around the basket scoring, but he played very well in other areas.
He didn't score from anywhere. His three ball is, I mean, obviously we've talked about like his 3-point shooting and his touch. Like, yeah, he's shown flashes with the 3-point shooting.
Right.
But it's been like he's going to have to improve the shooting touch. I want to say he's still around like 60% from the free throw line, high 50s.
Yeah. He's somewhere around there. That's
yeah. Right. Like he's going to have to improve his shooting touch. But like to me, he was like almost a complete non-factor. It felt like
on you're saying offensively, right?
I mean,
he had some nice plays.
Maybe a little bit too. I'd probably say, yeah, for the most part.
Defensively, he was very good. I'm telling you, go back and watch him. He was very good defensively. And a lot of it was on switching out on the perimeter and then getting back to those bigs. But he had a couple of nice plays around the basket. He had a nice up and under layup on the other side. He hit a 3. He had a nice mid-range pull-up J. So he did a little bit. But it's not – but yeah, he definitely struggled on the offensive end against those guys. Yeah. And they were just daring him to shoot threes. Like they were just packing the paint, daring him to shoot threes for sure. But no,
very good defensive game from them last night. Probably one of their best games of the season on that end.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And also, like, Houston just couldn't make a shot. Like, not even just saying like Fleming's. It was like Emmanuel Sharp. Like no one was making shots.
And Sharp wasn't even shooting though. He wasn't even taking shots. Like he took like 3 shots that whole game.
Well, no, he went 1 for 10.
He took 10 shots in that game.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it. I watched that whole game just like a couple hours ago. Like I was wondering, I'm like, why is Sharp not getting more involved offensively? He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything offensively.
Yeah, it wasn't. I love him, man. Like, it's not going to change my eval of him. Even though like, one of my things with him is like sometimes he's streaky and he shoots like Lonzo. But I still love him as a player.
No doubt.
Just a bad game.
Let me ask you this. So you said you had a counter to what I was saying about how deep the draft class is and how you could really take a lot of these guys and at higher draft slots, and I wouldn't bat an eyelash at it.
Yeah. No, it's not to say this isn't a deep class, but something I've been thinking about is we'll know more when it comes to May and June. But how deep this class is, especially with how many freshmen are in this class, creates a conundrum. And it's like the conundrum of the LeBaron Phylon from last year.
Right.
Of if they, like, let's say, like, you know, a player meets with these teams, whatever, he goes through the combine, does the pre-draft, like all that stuff. And then once the deadline comes, I don't remember exactly when that is specifically, he's not hearing the feedback that he likes or something like that. Or like maybe he's hoping to, you know, has a higher range or whatever. Like, yeah, I think I should be taking, I'm just going to say 8 to 13. And they tell me 18, like, you know, like for some of these prospects in this class, it's going to be a conundrum of draft slot versus what I'm going to be getting in NIL.
Oh, 100%.
And the development of it. Like, I'm just going to throw this name out there. I'm not saying this player will be drafted high or not, but the guy that you mentioned earlier, Braden Burries. What if it comes, you know, the end of May and he's like, actually, I think I can make more in NIL this year at Arizona, which, you know, they have a lot of money.
Got a lot of money. That's for sure.
And I'm projected to be a mid-first round pick because of how deep this class is. Like, what if I just go back?
Same thing I was thinking about Nate Ament. Like Nate Ament.
It happened with Nate too.
Because Nate's one of those types of guys with that kind of size. If he really refines his game and has a breakout college season next year, he could be like the number 1 or number 2 pick.
Exactly. And the thing with Burries, I'm using him as an example. Like,
it's a good guy to
have
use.
A lead role.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to have.
That's the exact Baron Phylon effect because Mark Sears was blocking Phylon last year, and now, he has the lead role this year.
And I'm
No,
not, and
it's true.
I'm just using him. I want to make this clear. I'm using him as an example. I'm not saying this is actually what's going to happen with him,
Right.
or I mean, it could happen with any of these guys. Like, I think another one that I thought about is Braylon Mullins.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. True. But
what if
people
he?
need
I mean, and this
specialists.
is more so with like the freshmen. Like, I'm not saying like Dalen Swain or someone like that who I think still has an extra year of eligibility.
Yeah.
Um, and Dalen has been, rising up draft boards this year with how he's played, especially over these last 10, 15 games.
Right.
I'm not saying he'd be one of those guys to, come back. I mean, he might, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of someone who maybe I'm not saying again, like what if Tone Day? Like, or someone, or I'm just trying to think
I,
of names who
I can't see Tone Day, but I mean, I think Tone Day wants to get to the league. You know what I mean?
me too, but it's one of those things where it's like at some point, I don't know at some point, depending on the selection, there's going to be a player or two, or maybe even three,
Like a Malik Thomas.
correct, who decides to withdraw their name because of, them not wanting or them not getting the necessary feedback that they think they are receiving to make that next step to go to the NBA draft, and instead or be like, you know what, I'll take, 7 figures to go back to
Yeah.
school or whatever. Like, there's going to be a name like Phylon was the one that kind of, I don't know if shocked us was the right
It was
word.
surprising. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
surprising that he went back last
I
season.
feel like there's going to be more of those names. I don't know how many more, but
Malik Thomas could be one of those guys because I have him in like the 20s. In 2027, he could be a top 10 pick easy.
yeah, especially with a larger role. And
Right.
it's one of those things where it's like,
Well,
unfortunately, we aren't privy
Jordan's
to,
coming to campus, so he's going to be the largest role.
yeah, but like we aren't privy to the conversations of what is happening behind closed doors with these guys because
Right.
as we've talked about, teams value certain things over others, and they might view Steinbeck more than what, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they might view some of these guys more than others, and so depending on the feedback that some of these players receive, it could, as we talked about last year, cut the middle
It
of the
could.
draft.
No,
And
you're right.
like there
About
could
that.
be like a slice that's taken out. It's still deep nonetheless.
It's
Especially,
insanely deep.
especially
Insanely
with
deep.
what we have at the top with, with in whatever order, Peterson, Boozer, Flemings, Acuff, Wilson, DeMount, like those guys, like a very strong top 5, 6, 7, however you want to divvy it up.
Right.
But then
Right.
once the middle of the draft comes, I just have a gut feeling. Again, I'm speaking with zero intel here, but based on what happened last year was also supposed to be a very deep class, and the middle got cut from,
Right.
beneath the legs a little bit. And so it's like, I think that's going to happen a little bit this year.
But don't you think two teams could take some of these centers higher than we're anticipating? Like, because our boards are just who we think are the better players. But I could see teams taking some of these bigs earlier than we think and pushing some of these prospects down also. Like Fury Badunga could go higher than we anticipate.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Steinbeck as well. Morris Johnson, I'm really intrigued by Morris Johnson. I like him a lot.
he was very good in that Duke game.
Dude, he's very good all the time. When you watch that guy play,
Yeah.
he is just an absolute monster, and he's an athletic freak. Like, did you see that dunk he had?
Yeah.
Man went up, moved himself in the air sideways, pulled the ball back behind his head, and then crammed it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's
Absolute freak.
I have him 29. But
And he's
moving up.
switchable.
Yeah.
And he's switchable. Like, he doesn't have to just play in deep drop. He can hedge, he can switch out briefly if you need him to. Like, he's a really tough prospect. And then the same thing with Shinlu.
Chinula.
Yeah,
He is
my brain's broken.
Dude, well, looking at his rebounding numbers and like his rebounding numbers relative to how much he switches, because like Florida's, they switch everything
all the
pretty
time.
much.
Yeah, they switch all the time.
The fact that he switches out as much as he does and corrals that many, not only defensive rebounds, but just rebounds in general. Like offensive glass, obviously, that has nothing to do with the switching part of it. But like, he is an absolute animal.
He is. He's phenomenal.
And he's
phenomenal.
Exceptional defensively, and he's like chiseled as hell. Like
you know what time it is, Matt. Who would you rather have?
Oh my god!
Would you rather have Fury Badunga? Would you rather have Ngongba from Duke? Would you rather have Morez Johnson or Shinyulu out of those four?
I mean, even though I think he's the most raw, I think Gongba is the guy that I have highest. So him.
So Gongba, okay. So Gongba's out. What about out of Badunga, Morez Johnson, Shinyulu?
I think I'd probably have Chinyulu, then Badunga, then Morez. But it's a close. I think it's close with all those guys.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's close. I'm not even mad at that. And I love Morez Johnson.
Yeah.
But dude, Chinyulu he's a terror, dude. He's a terror, absolute terror.
He's 6'11" with a 7'8" wingspan. Like, right. What are we talking about here?
With the feet to switch out on the perimeter.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, he's unreal. Shinyulu is unreal.
Just considering how much I pay attention to what Fanspo has on here, I was watching him a lot this weekend, and then I went to go like move him and try to move him on my board because I thought I had him on here.
Right.
And he just wasn't on there. And so
he just isn't there in the list, right?
Yeah, it shows you how much I'm like, I pride myself on attention to detail with certain things. Definitely not attention to detail when it comes to that. I'll tell you that.
Well, there's just so many good prospects. Like they get lost, dude. Look how long it took me to put Akori on the board because I forgot about him. Where do I can't even remember where I have him at this point. Somewhere down here at the bottom. Where is he? 21st.
11.8 rebounds per game. He leads the country.
Oh, he's unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
In rebound percentage, he leads the nation defensive rebound percentage at 31.7. That's with him switching out pretty much every single possession, while also leading the ACC, or not the ACC, the SEC in offensive rebound percentage at 18.3%. He corrals 4.2 offensive rebounds per game, and he plays just 24.4 minutes per game.
That is worrisome, though, that he only plays that many minutes.
I don't need him to be playing 30.
But as a starter, you'd like him to be, especially come playoff time. Like, you would like him to be. We have a question. What about Bennett Sturtz? I myself think he's underrated. So here's the thing about Bennett, right? He's an outstanding offensive player, especially in pick and roll situations. An outstanding player in those scenarios. Defensively, he's not very good, like at all.
He is just big. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's just big. And the other thing that I worry about with him is playing with pace. He does not play with any kind of pace. He's one of the slowest pace players in the entire league. So I like him, but I think there's going to have to be like a very specific role that he carves out for himself, because I don't know who's going to draft him and be like, you're our main guy. Let's just run high pick and roll all game. You know what I mean?
It's one of those things. I watched Sturtz at Drake.
Yep.
And like last year, because that was when when you first hear about these guys, I think a lot of what the pace discussion has to do with his scheme, like how like Ben McCollum and his scheme, like how that operates.
Right.
More so like it's a very like they run a lot of like different kinds of actions, Iverson cuts, all those types of actions. And I think for that, it's very scheme oriented with him too. Like he operates so much on ball.
Yeah.
That like, it's weird to see him operate off ball. And I think I want to say it was Vicini made this point at one point. And he was like, yeah, when he operates off ball, it's almost like he's like trying to like, catch a breather and get a break because he's on ball so ridiculously much to where like he doesn't really move off ball.
He doesn't.
Because of that, like I think.
But we don't know that.
And he plays 40 minutes a game every game. Like it feels like he never sits down.
I got a counter argument to that. I kind of understand that side of it, but we don't know if that's the reason he doesn't move. Because you know who moves really
It's
well
theory,
off
yeah.
ball? Well, you know who moves really well off ball and plays the entire game? Darius Acuff. He can play on ball and off ball. Even when he's off ball, he's not just standing. He's running floppy. He's running, wing to wing. He's going back door. He never stays still. And he's on ball more than anybody. So we don't know that that's the reason he's doing it. Maybe that's the reason he's doing it.
I think you have to factor it in for sure.
I mean, I kind of still would put it that he's not very good off ball. You can't say that he is because you don't see it. Like, if you can't see it, we can't say he's good at it. He's got another question or comment here. He says, what? There we go. Makes sense. I see him paired with an Embiid or Joker, which I would think would work since teams like Denver don't play a great single coverage defense, but a great team defense. I mean, he would do really well in Denver. I mean, that would be the ideal landing spot for Bennett because he'd come off the bench and, when Jamal Murray's not handling, he could handle, and they got enough players to kind of hide him. Yeah, it would be good. That would be a good spot. I wanted to show you this. I thought this was interesting. We're going really long today. We're already 40 minutes on our pod. This is Morris Johnson versus Shinyulu. Pretty much the same size and weight. Johnson's just younger by 2 years. This is per 36. Obviously, Shinyulu blows him out the water on the boards.
Yeah.
But he's still per 36 is averaging 10.8 rebounds per game. Morris Johnson. Every other category, points, assists, blocks, steals, turnovers, fouls, he's better than Shinyulu. In every single one of those per 36 categories. He's better in finishing, obviously a better three-point shooter and foul shooter, all the true shooting percentages, all that stuff. And even in all the advanced metrics, he is better than Shinyulu. I found that very, very interesting. Also, I'm a big Morris Johnson guy. Like, I really like Morris Johnson. So I thought this would help my argument. What do you think?
Sure. It's not a big gap with most of these.
It's not a big gap at all. It's not a big gap at all. But my point is, that's how good Morris Johnson is. As much as we like Shinyulu, Morris Johnson's a fantastic player in his own right.
Sure, yeah.
And he's uber bouncy and athletic. But let's wrap this thing up, Matt. What are your thoughts to end the show on the overall depth of this draft class, barring players going back to school? Do you think it's the deepest draft class we've seen?
I mean, this is a cop-out answer. It's the deepest since you and I have been doing this, which is
that is a cop-out answer.
The end of 24. Is that when we started? The end of the 24 cycle, or what?
I have a board up from 23, so maybe we weren't doing it together at that point.
Right, we weren't doing this together.
So yeah, the 24 was when we started. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's certainly, I would say deeper. I still don't know if it's as good at the top as it was last year.
So that's my thing with this class.
With Coup. It's only Coup. That's it.
That's my thing with this class. I don't think it's as good at the top. I don't even if you go back and look.
The 3 is better than last year's 3.
If you go back and look at the top of last year's class, though, Matt, it's kind of wild. I mean, it's real. The top 5 is really wild. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with Khan.
Yeah, Khan Knipple, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson. And Dylan Harper's second overall pick.
Well, AJ or Trey was 6th.
Oh, Trey was 6th. Who was 5th?
Ace.
No. Weren't they flipped around?
No.
Oh, they were flipped around on my big board. That's what it was. I had Trey Johnson higher than Ace Bailey on my big board. That's what it was.
Danny Ainge did not. He's like,
no, Danny Ainge. Yeah, he was like, I'm taking the tough shot maker that only takes tough shots.
Even though you're refusing to come to work out for me, I'm still taking you.
That was ridiculous. He said Bronny too. That's what made last year's class.
Did you see what LeBron James said about Jaylen Brown over the weekend?
No. What did he say?
They asked LeBron, I know I'm paraphrasing, they're like, what's your relationship with Jaylen Brown? This was after like the Sunday game where they played each other.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, it's good. Outside of the Bronny stuff, it was good.
What does that
Or
mean?
remember when Jaylen was caught courtside being like, yeah, Bronny, like, I don't know. Remember
Oh,
what he
he's
said,
not,
but he's like,
basically saying
Bronny,
he's not an NBA player.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that
I
was
love
funny.
it.
I was
I
like,
love it. He's
like, yeah,
telling the
outside of the
truth,
Bronny
man.
stuff.
He's telling the truth. You can't tell me Bronny's an NBA player. Get out of here.
But I mean, listen, it's a father son. Like if that were my son too.
Oh no, I get it. I get it. I mean,
But I
he's
thought it
go-
was very funny how he was just like, yeah,
yeah,
outside of the Bronny stuff,
right.
we're good. When he was
Listen,
like very serious when he said it too. Like I don't know. I thought it was funny.
I like to stand on the fact that I was right, and I think you were right too. That Jaylen Brown was going to be there longer than Tatum.
Well, what do you mean?
Because I always thought Jaylen Brown was the better player.
Oh, I still think Tatum's better.
See, okay, so we disagree on these. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it like one's hurt. So
Yeah, well, one's definitely hurt, right? I
like
think
he's
Jaylen Brown's the better player, though. Like he's the more explosive player. He's the more impactful defender. I think he's also the better playoff performer. But anyway,
the Finals MVP would probably sway that argument in your favor in terms of the playoff performer, but like how Tatum was guarded in that Mavericks series, I think also says a lot too.
yeah, I'm biased too because I hate Tatum just dribbling and pushing off every possession. So I'm
More than
biased.
fair. More than fair.
Brown pushes off a little bit too, but Tatum does it every single possession. Ian says, yep, same thing you've been saying before he drafted him. Told me that before they were drafted. I did say that before they were drafted. You're right about that. Ian.
I mean,
thank you.
I'm not. Listen. Okay. Never mind. I'm going to shut up about what I think about certain Heat fans when it comes to the draft.
Oh, that's right.
Like, let's draft Bronny so we could bring Braun back. It's like, what are you talking about?
Right. Let's dangle Bronny like he's a piece of meat. And LeBron, look what we got.
Yeah,
we got your son.
We just took your son, even though you told us not to yet. No,
Oh man, we're going off the rails, guys. So I think that's it for us today, guys. Matt, tell the people where they can find you, follow you, and get more of your work.
You could find me at NPH_824_ on Twitter. You could find me at hothouthoops.com, VendettaSportsMedia.com, MountainWestConnection.com, as well as Orlando Magic on SI. Conference tournaments begin. I was looking at this while you were talking at one point. The conference tournaments for college basketball begin, I think, the Ohio Valley Conference is the first conference tournament to tip off. That is March 4th, so that's next week.
Let's go.
The Big South is March 4th as well. And yeah, like it's just going to be continuing.
It's time, baby. I love it.
It's going to be next week, man.
I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to rock and roll with the tournaments, the NCAA March Madness tournament, and then roll right into Vegas in July, man. I'm ready to go, dude. I will be there. You can find me, Digital Adel, on all social media platforms. Instagram's a little bit different. It's digital_Adel. I do writing for the OnSI website for 5 different NBA franchises. Matt Hanifan also writes for the OnSI. And you can find us on our original, 5 Reasons Sports Network for content on the Miami Heat. Let's not forget them. But a big shout out to our sponsor. Don't forget 3D Pet Store on Etsy. Thank you for sponsoring. There's a 15% discount with the promo code 3D Pet. We'll see you next.